Hey guys, welcome back. It's Melody, and today we are going to tackle the 5 categories that make the biggest difference. In my previous video, How to Become a Minimalist, I tackled the categories that are the easiest to knock out of the way right away. So if you're one of those people that wants to see instantaneous results, that video, How to Become a Minimalist, is perfect for you. But this video is the one that makes the biggest visual difference. So if you are interested in health and organization with an undercurrent of minimalism, then this is definitely your channel. Any topic that I think is relevant to healthy or efficient type of living, I always make sure I make a video about it. So definitely subscribe. The very first category that we're going to tackle is clothes. Clothes will probably make the biggest visual difference of any category in your house. I have 2 tips for clothes right now, and the very first tip is to get clothes and put away your winter and summer clothes. So I used to live in Hawaii and I never owned pants. There was really no need to own pants. I just had dresses. Well, I can't wear my summer dresses in the winter time for the most part. If you are not going to be using a lot of them, then I get one little container like this. Again, I always get containers that I can reuse, because the key is to get containers that are multi-purpose, so that if it doesn't serve one purpose, it can move on to the next purpose easily as your life transitions. You buy specialty containers and you're stuck with them, and usually you run out of uses after a while, especially as you start to declutter. So this container I just keep underneath all of the rest of my clothes, and I can still get in them in the winter time if I need to. When the summertime or the warm weather rolls around, I grab all of these clothes, put them in the washing machine, and then I get all of my winter pants, because I will never wear pants. If I don't have to wear pants, I'm not wearing pants. So I grab all of my pants and I put them all in here ready for the next season. So that's one really good tip for your wardrobe. And the second tip I have about clothes is oftentimes we dress for our mood instead of our body type, which I prefer dressing for my body type. Body type pretty much is consistent throughout our life. If we're a pair, we're a pair. And so mood will change from even day to day, and especially over the years, our personality changes in big and small ways. So if I'm dressing for mood, I'm going to need a lot of clothes, and it's going to keep on moving. So I'd rather the bar be easy to tackle, so I dress for the body I have, my body type. And the next thing I want to say is relish the power of one. So 1 or 2. I'm not saying you can only have one, but for instance, high heels are not that practical, so I'll only have 1 or 2 pairs at a time. And the same thing with bikinis. I don't go to the beach, even in Hawaii. My mom had me and she wanted a beach baby, funny enough. She prayed to the heavens that I would be a beach baby, but if you have been following my channel, you know that I like stability and predictability and lists. So the minute I was old enough to go to the beach, she grabs me and put that baby onto the sands, and guess what happened? I was wailing at the top of my lungs. The German personality in me said, "Ma, take me back to solid ground," and that was the end of that. Anyways, shop for the life that you have. If you don't go to the beach a lot, if you don't go to the gym a lot, don't shop for the life that you want, but the life you're already living. Same with our body. We can get so caught up into wanting to get back to a certain size, but we can get stuff when that time comes. Again, if your hobby is to bake, if your hobby is purses, you love purses, of course you can have extra, but for most of us, we just want to dress for practicality and a little bit of pleasure. And then also I have one big winter coat. A big winter coat, a really big puffy one that makes you look like Mrs. Claus, can really change your life. I'm telling you, no longer will I have to be wearing layers in the South. I don't ever have to wear layers when I leave the house now that I have this big puffy coat. There are other things that I only buy one of, and I have the full list in the down bar, so if you want to check that out, go ahead. We're going to move on to the second point, which is to buy furniture that is versatile. In the living room, I have a couch that doubles as an ottoman because it goes nose backwards, and so I can rest my feet. And even it is so comfortable, guests will even just sleep there instead of having me blow up the mattress. And then I also have my desk that doubles as a side table. So if guests want drinks or something like that, I can put it there. And I have a stool in the living room that doubles as a place to rest all of my blankets when they're not in use. And the stool is really great because I can go underneath it with my cordless vacuum and easily vacuum up everything without having to lift things up. So for me, when it comes to furniture, I really prize multi-purpose. So my media center, it doesn't hold media because I digitized it all, but it holds all of my modules, and I really prize that in furniture, and I really prize the feel of things. So for me, I used to have wicker baskets, but I changed them all out for things that I actually like to touch. So now my blankets are on the lucite stool, which I actually like to feel with my hands, the velvet and the lucite. And my things are in buckets or in boxes, which are a lot better to feel with my hands than wicker baskets. So you can really focus also on the feel and the look of things, but functionality in minimalism is key. And why is furniture on the list? Simply put, furniture is the most important thing to declutter because it takes up the most space and it attracts the most clutter. Just a surface space just begs for people to dump things on it. Also, the drawers attract clutter because we see an empty drawer, we see an empty pantry, and we just go in and jam everything in because we want to see the abundance. So the less furniture you have, the less you're stubbing your toes, the easier it is to vacuum because nothing is getting, the dust is falling down and it's not getting stuck on surfaces on the way to the floor. So the easier it is to clean, and then the less clutter is attracted into your space. And if you live with family members that are always putting stuff everywhere, the less space they are able to do that, so they're more encouraged just to get it into their own room or their own space. And then the third category I've already alluded to, but it's basically media. I've digitized all my media. Again, this might not be practical for you. You might just want to digitize the stuff you don't watch regularly. Regardless, you want to get down your media as much as possible. When it comes to these 5 categories, in my opinion, you can't be too ruthless because these categories will overtake your life easily if you let them. I do like a hardcover book, but if I'm gonna do that, I'll go to the library and I'll read a hardcover book, or I'll limit my books to 5. And then my next category is paperwork. Along with clothes, paperwork is probably the biggest and the most difficult to declutter because we've spent decades of collecting mail and collecting things given to us. Again, I take a ruthless approach. When it comes to warranties, I cut them all out. In my opinion, it is a luxury for me to afford. I'm not saying everybody can afford that luxury, but if you can afford that luxury, then do that. I'd rather spend my money on things that add great value to my life, and never having to save warranties and coupons and all those things is a great value to my life. Now, I can save 20% off coupons in my email inbox, but when it comes to those little coupons that trickle in, that you save $1 or $2, it's not even worth it for me to keep it and then funnel them out as they expire and to get them to the grocery store and plan my grocery trip really closely so that I can use them all, and then usually end up with a lot more stuff than I wanted or brands that I would have never let through my door. So I'd much rather just save the coupons for the ones that make a big difference, the 20% off coupons that come through my email, than the ones that are physical copies. So again, you can't be too ruthless when it comes to paper clutter. For recipe cards, I keep 3 to 4 recipes on one recipe card because I've made them so many times. I imagine a lot of us are like that. We've made the same recipes over and over. We might try many recipes, but we always revert to our favorite ones. Why not summarize it and have all of them on one recipe card? Then you can just grab 1 or 2 recipe cards and you've already meal planned for the whole week, instead of writing everything out individually so you have to get out 7 different recipe cards. For me, the only paper that I have left is a few index recipe cards. The ones I rarely ever do, I scan them to my Google Drive that I can access on my phone. And then some of Pat's paperwork, my cat's paperwork, my personal documents that you absolutely need to keep hard copies of, and a very small stack of clippings that I've saved over the years that I like to look at, hard copies. The possibilities, if you just imagine it, you can have it. You can have even less than I have. Minimalists do. So definitely be ruthless when you're getting through it. Digitize. Grab your camera out, take pictures of the artwork, and then send it on its way. And the very last category is technology. And how often do we get a very expensive piece of technology? I absolutely love this camera, but unfortunately it comes with a lot of stuff, just like a lot of expensive equipment like the Vitamix, or maybe you got one of those new instant crock pots for Christmas and it come with all of that box and all of those paperwork. My advice is to just send it out. I don't keep warranties. Again, like I said, I send it out immediately. So within 30 days of the purchase of the big item, out it goes. This camera came with so much, a giant stack of paperwork, and all I gotta say is all these progressive companies that are making all this tech, they really need to get on the ball on making their packaging green. So you have all these makeup boxes and tech boxes and cords. Cords especially, I never keep. If there's a loose cord, it's out it goes. I can buy that cord on Amazon for $5. I believe this camera is a micro USB, and my digital recorder that I use for work is micro USB. A lot of speakers are, which is one of the reasons why I love using a Samsung phone, is because it also uses a non-proprietary micro USB cord. And so if you're using things that use the same cord, you don't need one for each thing. So I might have 2 micro USB cords in my whole house, and all of the things will just share those 2. These categories, they're really important to talk about because when you think about the possibilities, even just the thought of it gives you a lot of momentum to just go tackling them right away. I hope that you got some inspiration from this video. If it was very helpful to you, definitely give it a share, and then I'll see you all in the next minimalist video. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe so that I can see you next Sunday.